When I was playing Rabio Lepus Special, I was thinking, am I doing something wrong? The reason for that is I couldn't make any progress at all. I played stage 1 for almost half an hour. And then I looked things up and found out, no, this was the way the game was supposed to work. Backing up a bit, Rabio Lepus was an arcade game released in 1987, and it was known outside of Japan as Rabbit Punch. It was kind of a minor title that got some attention for being one of the early games in the shoot-'em-up genre. Now you know, with the title of the PC Engine version being Rabio Lepus Special, that they must have added something. That's what adding special to the title always means. And in this case, no, they didn't add anything. Instead, they modified the game to make it almost impossibly difficult. The arcade game has 12 stages. On the PC Engine, the first 3/4 of the game were essentially merged together. The reason for that is obvious when you see the entire game played out. From start to end, Rabio Lepus Special is about 13 minutes long. It feels like the PC Engine version is special because they cranked up the difficulty to prevent people from beating it immediately. Rabio Lepus Special is the only PC Engine game that's known to have been developed by Minoguchi Engineering. They were a very tiny programming house that did a lot of behind-the-scenes work in the 80s and 90s. Most notably, they worked with Capcom a lot on their Game Boy games. The plot of Rabio Lepus Special is that the king and princesses of Rabbit Land have been abducted, and so it's Rabio's job to get them back. The game is a horizontally scrolling shoot-'em-up, and in the special version there are 5 stages. Button 2 fires your very puny main gun, and Button 1 unleashes a barrage of homing missiles. Those homing missiles do a ton of damage, and can chew through bosses in just a couple of hits. But you have limited quantities of them. You have a health bar in Rabio Lepus Special. You can take 3 hits before you're destroyed, and you start out with 3 lives. This isn't one of those shoot-'em-ups where they give you a health bar but only 1 life. On the other hand, when you get destroyed, you go back to the previous checkpoint, which is usually after you've defeated a boss. Power-ups are acquired from pods that have carrots printed on them, and when they're destroyed, they always spit their item out in a way that it travels down and to the right. This can be a problem because sometimes these pods will shoot the item out and off the screen, or into an obstacle, and then you just can't collect it. There aren't really any upgrades in Rabio Lepus Special, with the sole exception, kind of the ribbon. Rabio will wear the ribbon, and then his shots travel faster and the missiles can penetrate enemies. Getting hit causes the ribbon to fall off though, and you'll have to recollect it before it goes off the screen. Everything else is a consumable. There are missile packs, carrots that refill health, sake that is just worth points, and a Tanuki statue that will make you invincible, but also stops you from shooting. Rabio has one other weapon at their disposal, and it's the one that you'd expect based on the arcade game's title outside of Japan. When you're close to something and you hit fire, then he'll punch. And that does more damage than the standard shot, usually enough to destroy an enemy in 1 hit. Rabio takes damage when you collide with terrain, but he can walk along the ground. Unfortunately, not every flat horizontal surface counts as the ground, so you can press down to walk on something and discover that it hurts you. Basically, the only ground that counts is the bottom of the screen. Something that you might have noticed watching this video is that Rabio Lepus Special is incredibly unfair. Enemies pop in and fire instantly, or a dozen of them will spawn at the edge of the screen and then shoot inward in an instant. There's lots of attacks that will home in on you and keep homing in on you. You don't dodge once and then they're gone. You will have to memorize the stages to have any chance of making progress here. The game is just completely unfair otherwise. Surprisingly for a PC Engine shoot-'em-up, Rabio Lepus Special does not seem to have a strong following in Japan. The people I found who were talking about it all complained about the high difficulty. There were a few people who seemed to be pretty mad about that. My personal feeling is that there's a lot to like in Rabio Lepus Special, but it is hard to get over that brutal difficulty. On the plus side, when you're killed, it's not like you're losing any significant power. You'll even keep your missile stock until you continue. But with just 2 credits, you're going to keep getting sent back to the start and have to memorize those stages. I feel like if the stage design was better, then Rabio Lepus Special would be a classic. But as it stands, you'll either have to be a masochist or a shoot-'em-up enthusiast to really enjoy this one.